Hello, hello, everybody. I hope that you're having an amazing Thursday. For those of you who don't know me, I want to just give you a quick rundown of who I am. And I was so surprised and shocked when I got asked to do this, and I was so grateful. But essentially, in a nutshell, I'm one of you guys. I'm an agent at JPAR, and I'm a team lead. I run one of the top teams across the country. And I am from the Texas area, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this organization and now to be gathering with you guys. And guys, we need to gather. We need each other. And I truly, truly mean that. We need each other, especially in the market shifting and really normalizing. We need to link arms and cheer each other on and sometimes give each other a kick in the pants. So I am so excited to introduce myself and also get to know you guys. So a little bit about me. I have built 4 top industry businesses in the last 10 years. And I'm not telling you this in any way to prop myself up. I'm telling you this because I think you need to know that when I teach you about our topic today, self-awareness, I have gone through this journey in the most brutal of ways myself from A to Z. So I have built 4 top industry businesses. My first one went to top 3%, and then I started over again from scratch and went to top 1% industry-wide. And I started over again and went to top 1% again. And then I started over again at JPAR at the very end of 2019 and went to top 1% industry-wide again. And so I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I have been asking God really to give me more opportunities to use my greatest strengths and my greatest calling, which is truly to bring authenticity and a sense of realness and a sense of, I'm such a truth seeker that I have a strength of being able to ignite change in other people that's lasting and to simplify things that are complicated and to ignite that desire for change in other people. And that is what I'm here for. And again, when I was asked to do this, I was shocked, but I'm so grateful and I'm ready to change with you guys. So I'm really excited. And I want people this year to really rewrite their success story and to go to that next level. Also, before we dig into our topic, I'd love to just acknowledge really what we've been through as an industry in the past couple of years. And after this acknowledgement, though, I'm putting it to rest because it's time to move on and it's time to decide if 2023 is going to be your year and my year to really go to the next level. Back to where we were, it's been a couple crazy years for us as an industry. And there's been a lot of fear and uncertainty and a lot of chaos. And what we've had to do as agents in this industry, we've had to really stand in the gap and be the calm in the storm for our clients. And for some of us, that calm in the storm of financial, this fear of what's going to happen next and really be that anchor. And I know that it can get taxing and I know that it can get tiring. And for those of you who are new to the industry, we are here to welcome you. Okay. And we are here to give you resources and cheer you on. I always say our biggest competition is always ourselves, which is going to bring us to our topic today, not someone else, but ourselves. So stay the course, everybody. We have a great year ahead. But let me hop over to our topic of self-awareness. And guys, success starts with self-awareness. Success starts with self-awareness because that's where change starts. And if you, let me just say this, I don't even care if you're number 1 in the world for real estate. You could be even better if you got more self-aware because that is what ignites true change. Okay, so let me share my screen with you guys real quick and let's go through our topic. So our topic is, of course, self-awareness. And what is it? It starts with an honest assessment of where you are and true and complete ownership of where you are at, no matter the circumstances. What does that mean? That means that it doesn't matter what the market is doing. It doesn't matter if so-and-so is sick, right? And I'm not trying to be callous. I have cancer in my family right now too. And I have my own health problems. We all have our problems, right? but we cannot allow those to become excuses. We have to really try and build a business that is around our life, that is consistent, okay? So no matter what the circumstances are, we have to take away those excuses and really take a close look at ourselves. And why does this matter? It doesn't matter what level you're at. You cannot go to your next level until you know where you're at right now and why. And bonus, how you got there. So let's talk a little bit about the foundation of this concept of starting to become self-aware. The foundational elements of it are you can only control you. That's a heavy weight to carry if you really look at it, but it's also a huge relief. You can control your attitude, your reactions, and your choices, okay? Only you can control you. And you also really do have to take ownership of those choices. Like I am on a journey this year in my own weakest areas of my life. And I have to look and assess, honestly, what choices am I making? How did I get to this place that I'm at right now? And what do I need to do to change? So you have to take ownership and realize that your life is a series of choices. That's what life is. All the choices you made up to now got you here. Okay. So in order to reach your next level, it involves change, and not just willy-nilly change for the change's sake, intentional change. It involves intentional change, and you cannot change with intention if you are not aware of how you got where you're at today and what you need to do next. Does that make sense? Are you following me? Okay. So change is essential with intention, and then you have to humble yourself. That is so critical. And I'm going to share some pretty humbling examples of things that I have walked through in my life in the past couple of years. Really, real estate entrepreneurship is the most humbling teacher because the market starts to be really honest with you about what you are worth. And that is something that takes a lot of bravery to face on a day-to-day basis. And you have to be humble and willing to really let life teach you, to let real estate teach you. And so I'm going to come up with a couple of examples that I have really had to work through myself that have made me a better mom, wife, business owner, all the above. Okay. You have to be humble. So quotes that I thought were very helpful. This one is so simple and it seems so obvious, but I literally repeat this to myself pretty much on a daily basis, is know thyself. Know thyself. And who said that? Socrates. So I'm going to read this quote. I hope I can get it right. I always trip over my words because, it's Socrates. He's smart. So according to Socrates, true wisdom is knowing what you do not know. So an essential part of knowing yourself must be recognizing the limits of your own wisdom and understanding. This is the part where I get tongue-tied. Knowing what you do genuinely know and knowing what you have yet to learn. If you just look at that quote, like think about it, read that, pause this if you're going to watch it later, and pause it and read it 2 or 3 more times. There's some assumptions being made in there. One is that you're humble enough to recognize that you have not reached your full potential. 2, and this is the greatest gift, is that sure, you're recognizing that you have limits, but you're recognizing what you need to know, that you have a skill set you can learn. There's knowledge out there that you can gain. There's actions, there's choices, there's things that you can do to move yourself forward, and that you're not at your greatest limit right now. There's always the next level. And you're acknowledging at the same time that belief in yourself that you can go to the next level and you can do better things and you can do greater things. And maybe it's a skill set. Maybe it's keeping your promises to yourself, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. So really think about that this week and recognize, again, where you're at, but that your next level's just self-awareness and igniting change. That really is where your next level is at. So here's another quote that I thought was very good. What is necessary to change a person is to change his awareness of himself. And I thought that was really a beautiful thing because, again, it's going back to change. They go hand in hand. Self-awareness comes first and then change. And last but not least, awareness is the greatest agent for change. So what does all this mean? At the end of the day, it means self-awareness is the key to change, and change is the key to your next level. So it all starts at this baseline of getting to really know yourself, and not in this sense of this abstract thing where we have to like go to the ocean and bathe in the sea and like come one with nature, although that is very helpful. But it's really more about taking practical steps that I'm going to, in the next slide, I'm going to kind of share with you some of the ways that I started to recognize things I needed to work on, and some pretty painful and humbling experiences of what I had to do to get to my next level. So what do we need to become aware of, and how do we start to do that? So here's the challenge of the week. Ask yourself, what do you need to be aware of to ignite change? What do I need to be aware of to ignite change? And here's some ways that we can start to do that. How are you talking to yourself? Guys, I'm a really like straightforward person, so much so that over the years, talk about self-awareness, I've had to become aware of just how doggone straight to the point I can be. And it used to be offensive to people. I actually used to have a hard time communicating with other ladies because I was so straightforward and so straight to the point that it was strange for them, because I communicate more like a man, to be perfectly honest. But how are you like talking to yourself, right? Like this really does matter. And I know for those of you who are not ooey gooey, you're like, I don't need self-talk, I just need things to do. I totally disagree. And 3, 5, 6 years ago, especially 6, 7 years ago, I would have thought that the self-talk aspect was not really the most important, but it is so critical. Here's why. Thoughts drive your choices. And just say that to yourself a couple times. Thoughts drive choices. And guys, what is life? Your life right now is a culmination of all of your choices. So your thoughts drive the direction of your life. And wow, is that like crazy or what? It's crazy. So how you talk to yourself is critical, because it is going to drive choices and it's going to drive the direction of your life. Okay. So be aware of your self-talk this coming week. Just literally, if you're driving and you're thinking, start to think out loud and write some of this down on your phone, talk it into your phone with a recorder or something like that. Become aware of that this week. That's my challenge to you. Now, other talk. This is a big one. Labels. This is what really helped me start to change and grow as a leader and as a human being. I went through this process where I started to look at all the labels that I had given myself over the years, and I had been given labels by other people too. So what I would encourage you to do is sometimes you need to listen. If it is somebody that selflessly loves you, truly, you need to listen to what those people say. And I have a really funny example I want to share with you that I hadn't planned on sharing with you, but I'll do it. I will totally embarrass myself in front of you guys for the sake of you guys knowing that it's okay to be real and mess up. Okay. So, but at the same time, there are some people who are telling you lies, and you need to be rid of it. You need to cut those ties and move on. Okay. But do listen and assess those labels that you've given yourself and that others have given you. Okay. Listen to your loved ones. All right. And listen to your clients and your closes. If you guys are asking for feedback from your clients, are they telling you that you're not communicating more than once? You might think you're communicating enough, but if you're getting feedback from somebody constantly that you're not, time for a self-check-in. Okay. If people are saying that they feel like you promise the world and then don't deliver, and they've said that more than once, it's time to listen. And guys, worst case scenario, you're just going to get better from listening and taking heed. Okay. So this is not to say to find what you're doing wrong. This is to recognize where you can get better and to go to the next level. Okay. So start to listen to yourself and to others. So here's some ways to actually start recognize things. What are patterns? Like, what are you saying to yourself and what are the patterns? And here's how we can start to break some of the negative patterns so that you can actually start to go to your next level. I love affirmations. And I think it was Kim Taylor was talking about those the other day. Affirmations are very helpful and critical, and just saying at the top of the day. And guys, some people have a book of affirmations to say every morning. What I did is I came with just a few that were things that I say, I want, or I am blank so that I can such and such. So I am fit so that I can be there for my child for many years to come. Okay. And I'm not fit yet. That's my big stronghold, which I openly talk about with my team and things like that. But I have to talk to myself like I am. But here's the big part. I'm going to challenge you to take affirmations to the next level. Affirmations are little promises to yourself that you're making every day. They're little tiny promises that you're making to yourself every day. Guys, you have to start keeping your promises to yourself. What happens if you don't? I don't weigh 150 pounds yet, right? That's not actually my goal, but if it were my goal, I don't weigh that yet. But I have to wake up every day and align my choices and keep my promises to myself to act like a person that does weigh 150 pounds, right? Okay. And so what I see so many people do is they just talk to themselves positively, which will only get you so far. You have got to keep those promises to yourself in a way that is sustainable. So what I would encourage you to do is do affirmations. Okay. Keep the promises to yourself. And guys, what that means, I would encourage you to change 1% every day. And if that's still too overwhelming, change 1% every week. I have seen so many people say go from 0 phone calls a day to 100 phone calls a day. And guess what? It's not sustainable. You're not used to making that many phone calls a day in your business. Maybe you need to make 20 and the next day do 21 and then 22, or maybe you need to do 20 every day for a week or a month. Okay. 1%. Okay. Change is going to actually help you keep making the right choices over and over again, because it's not such a steep punishment. And you are reaffirming that you keep promises to yourself and that you are capable of attaining your long-term goal. Okay. And I say long-term goal. I believe that if you start to do affirmations and you do this self-awareness exercise, recognize the patterns, start to break those patterns with affirmations, keep promises to yourself 1% at a time, you will see more success exponentially faster than somebody who's trying to do a total 180. Okay. And also focus on the who do you want to become? And if you don't have quite the idea of who you want to become yet, find someone that you want to become like and do what they do. All right. Because they're who you want to become like. Okay. So focus on the who, not the do. So here's another thing. When you're thinking about others, labels I've given you, things like that, here's where I'm going to show you a couple of examples of myself that you might get a good laugh from. Patterns. What patterns have people that you love shared with you over the years? Does a label that they've given you actually hold truth? Okay. I'm not sure which way to go here, but I'll just tell a funny story first. My husband always tells me I have a hard time listening, which I have told him before we got married. I said, I'm ADHD, and when I'm engrossed in a project, you better like wave your hand in front of my face or like actually say my name or look me in the eyeballs, because I have a really hard time genuinely listening if I'm trying to do 10 million things at a time. So this week it iced over in Texas and we have stairs on our front porch. Yeah. So my husband's been telling me for years I don't listen. Well, this was like a glaring example of, yeah, I have not been listening well, because He told me, hey, honey, I fell down the stairs. It's really icy on the front porch. Well, I'm headed out to a closing on Monday and it's already iced. And guess what happens? Jenna goes flying down the dadgum stairs. And the icing on the cake, guys, is I am a little bit, okay, maybe this is TMI, but I told you I'd get real, okay? So if you got a problem with it, you can just put it in the comments and let me know. But my kid's a little bit redneck. I'm from East Texas, okay? And he's a boy. So there's this little culvert next to our stairs where he can hide and go pee. Well, guess where I fell? Into the pee culvert. Yep, in my nice wool jacket, ready to go for my closing. And I remember looking up from the ground with my hair all over my face. And my husband was like, I told you to be careful. And y'all, it's on video. And he literally is also telling me to be careful as I am going down the stairs to fall into the pee culvert. And I was just like, gosh, I don't listen well. And like, not every example is so extreme, but that's an example of I've got to get better at listening. I don't really know how to do that yet, but I'm going to work on it because I don't want to fall on a pee culvert again. I do truly want to be a good listener when it comes to multitasking. So, excuse me. So another thing is observe your interactions with others and be really honest about how those people are perceiving you. Perception is reality. I meant to mention that already. Perception is reality to some people. And if you want to really master the art of communication and influence, you have got to understand how other people perceive you. And here is something that I'm going to share that's really personal. My son's name is Javen. That's why it's written on there. Like a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, I started to notice, this is really personal, and it really hit me hard because I was like, oh gosh, I have a lot to work on. Like as a parent, I don't have this together yet, but he takes Taekwondo and I used to be a professional athlete. And so I pick up patterns and things like that really easily. And I can literally sit and watch somebody do a pattern, whether it's a dance or Taekwondo or whatever. And like, I know it in just a couple seconds and like can do it. And my kiddo is 6. And so he was learning some of his forms in Taekwondo. And I learned them really fast, obviously. And so I had been drilling him kind of from the sidelines in his class, like, no, that's wrong arm, this kick, no. And guys, I had done this for weeks and I thought I was helping, but what I was doing was actually completely making him doubt himself and eroding his self-confidence. And I was being overbearing is what I was being. I was being overbearing and I was being bossy and not letting him rise to the challenge on his own. What I thought was helpful was actually very damaging. And so weeks and weeks went by of me coaching from the sidelines. And I noticed that he couldn't do the patterns anymore. And the whole time he was just staring at me and looking at me like for approval, like, is this good enough? And I had to go home and be like, what have I done? Like, I have literally made him not believe in himself or be able to take ownership of this little pattern thing, right? Because I have totally been that voice inside his head telling him that he messes up at every turn. And it just killed me. And so I actually went to the rest of my family and I asked them if I have ever made them feel that way. And a couple of them said yes. And they were like, I know that you're trying to be helpful, but it actually made me feel like you just disapproved. And that hurt, guys. Like, oh, like even now I'm like borderline getting emotional, but guess what? Now I'm a better mom. I'm a better wife. I'm a better person, for crying out loud. And that is what self-awareness can do for you. It can totally remake your ability to change. It can ignite you to the next level in many, many areas of your life. So I urge you and challenge you to start to go through this process. And if you want slides, you can put down in the comments that you want them, or just email me at jennaharris@jpar.com. That's important. So Jenna Harris at jpar.com. So don't be afraid to also ask the people that are close to you that you know, and that love you, what they perceive of you, so that you can really start to master these changes and the self-awareness so that you can go to the next level. Okay, so that is it. That is it for me today. I am so grateful again for this opportunity, and have a wonderful day. Okay, bye.